Hey all, this is Xenoxis, and this is the Xenoxis show. I'm just checking here, so the settings are okay. It looks okay. So yeah, so this is the Xenoxis show for the 10th of February 2023. I'm just gonna be using the glass for a short while because this pretty hard to see because it's actually pretty dark outside. Currently drinking some Celsius peach vibe. There's actually a bunch of good like Swedish energy drinks and stuff like that. So yeah, if you've been following me on Twitter, you might have noticed, that yesterday I got Metroid Prime Remastered, which of course has already come out digitally and stuff like that. Still using these, because these are old and stuff like that, pilot style glasses, old Ray-Ban glasses. Some really old one, and stuff that, like Ray-Ban is really good, and stuff that. I'm just getting them to fit sometimes. There we go. No, this is the, Right, and these were actually pretty expensive back in the day. This actually really old, like I forgot if it was my dad's brother who got them for like they used to belong to my dad, but then he got them for me because he has gotten better glasses now and stuff that, so yeah. But anyway, so yeah, we're going to be talking about a few things, Of course, on the 4th of February, was my birthday. 38 now, yeah, 2025, that's when I'm going to be 40 and stuff that, so, that's interesting. But yeah, I was actually very surprised of the Metroid Prime Remastered when it came out. I mean, there have been rumors, of course, that, they're remaking Metroid Prime, because honestly, they call it a remaster, but it feels almost more like a remake. And of course, there's always going to be people who I don't see any difference in the graphics, but yeah, this is people that are like they're basically people that cannot think for themselves. That they need to hear what government tells them to think or whatever. And whenever you like challenge their ideas, they will just be like racist, fascist, bigot, and so that because they cannot think on their own. Or when you tell them what about this? Or, I don't know anything about that. And then it's like they don't know anything about anything. And then, they're low, dumb IQ voters. And, and then it's like, but Republicans are the one with dumb voters. Look at this higher education. And then, like, the higher education don't matter. Because if you go to a certain place where you can learn, critical race theory, or you can have gender studies or whatever, a university like that, yeah, those grades aren't worth anything. Like, you can be a lawyer, super well paid lawyer, but then you are like, this black person is completely innocent, he murdered 6 people, 2 months jail. Or this white person, he took $100 reduced from someone, death sentence. That's kind of how it is, I mean, I'm just keeping it real, man, so yeah. I have some monsters over here. I actually have 2 more codes left to use from Apex Legends that I need to register because I have some monster codes. Basically, you need to use the codes. You use the codes basically, and you register the codes from. The thing is though that I completely forgotten that the sad thing is on some of them there is the Apex Legends shown on the side and stuff like that, but there have been certain ones that I had several cancelled, like this one, the used thing here, and I didn't know that this black thing here indicates that there is a code underneath it, because if you see here there is no Apex Legends or whatever on this one, and if you see for example on this one, there's very clearly an Apex Legends thing. That's not that same thing with the green. Same thing with this one here. Same thing with the green one. There's an Apex Legends, and on the site you can see what cans are bought of it. So you know, I mean there is a maximum amount of code they allow you to register, which is a bit weird, you know. There's only a maximum amount of cans that you can register and stuff like that, but yeah. There's also 2 new flavors, which is one is the Lewis Hamilton, which is not the same as the old one. This one is without sugar, and then Ultra Rosa, which basically is pink, you know. But yeah, that one is actually pink grapefruit flavored, I believe. And the Lewis Hamilton is like regular grapefruit, because yes, there is a difference between the regular grapefruit and pink grapefruit. There is actually quite a noticeable flavor difference. And this is of course a peach vibe and stuff like that, but yeah. The weird thing with these is that they say that, oh, or at least on some of these, they say, oh, only natural, you know, ingredients and stuff that, no, you know, certain things, you know. And then you check out the flavor and there's no like juice from peach. And same thing with another flavor, there's no like kiwi or guarana in it or whatever, right? You want to like, oh, but then it says that there's aroma of things. But I thought that aroma was meant to be used, you know, used to be like smell and not like flavor and stuff like that. But maybe they've changed that, you know, but yeah. Now one good thing with this is that it's 355 milliliters. Of course, a Monster is 500 milliliters, but I think the Celsius, out of the specific Swedish energy drinks, I believe Celsius is Swedish, Celsius Energy. There's also one, the other Celsius flavor I had, or I've had some of them, but there was one that was not called Celsius Energy, that was called Celsius Fit, which is the one with the kiwi and guarana. That might have been the one that had specifically like, that specifically said that it didn't have like the flavors, or that it didn't have, you know, like any, or that it contained like natural aromas and stuff like that. It's hard to see on this one because of the light here in the room, because only one of the lights up there are like active. So there's some, and I don't know if it's just that the wiring is faulty up there, so that it's like you can put in a completely new one, a completely new, you know, set of lights, or a completely new light bulb in one, and it still doesn't work properly. So I think that one of them is not wired properly, and I think that it's probably just better at this point just to get a proper lamp up there or something like that, something stronger or whatever, right? Because I need to get like this room like brighter and stuff there, because, you know, the brighter you can have in the room, of course, the more it helps, you know, because, you know, you can damage your eyes if you don't have enough brightness and stuff that, so yeah. I just need to check here so that it's still shown properly. Yes, it is shown properly there, that's good. So yeah, so in Metroid Prime, of course, I'm currently, let's check the Twitter here, because I did post screenshots. I like how on the Switch you can take the screenshots pretty quickly and stuff that, so yeah, so I'm at 78% on the item collection, 96 on the percent of the scan, only missing 2 of the shows, so artifacts, things, and I'm 10 hours so far. I probably could have done things quicker if I would have like been more smart about the routing in the game, because there are at certain points where I like to advance until it doesn't allow me to go further and stuff like that. Because the funny thing is when you get to the point in the game where it gives you the hint about, or you can choose to not see that hint, but the hint for the X-ray visor, at that point you also at the same time get the hint for because of the power bombs. You have both the hint for the visor and then the hint for the X-ray visor, and then also the hint for the grappling beam, so you can get them in either order. Of course, and of course, if you get the grappling beam, you can just go and get the plasma beam right away. I actually did the plasma beam in the first try there, stuff that, because of course the things on the wall, the creatures, you can actually bomb them with regular bombs and stuff that, which is really good. And then the thing is, when you're on one of those railings and you need to drop down, like one of the last things you almost do, or not, but near the end, there's a big drop, and then you need to press it again. There's no timing to that. Basically, just immediately after you release, you can just hold down the button, and then as long as you have the ZL, I think it is ZL, yeah, ZL, as long as you hold that button in, you will immediately, you know, magnetize to the spider tracks. But it's of course really, really good. And now the two that I'm missing is of course the two that I've left in the ruins. One of them is in the Elder room, where you basically need to use plasma beam, and then you go below the statue, I believe it is. Like there's a room below there, below the statue directly, which you go down to, and there's one of them. And the other one is in the Tower of Light, so to speak. There's basically like a light thing and stuff like that. Of course, the thing that I'm worried about though is that I won't be able to get 100% scan, because I forgot how these exactly work. Because each of the artifacts, when you're at the temple, you can scan the artifacts and they will be recruited to logbook and stuff like that. So that means they should count as scans, yes. But the thing is that you can pick up certain ones without even scanning them. Does that mean that you lose out on them? Because if that is the case, you need to do things very inefficiently. So you basically need to avoid picking up any of the things, and then you need to make sure that, okay, I only pick up the ones that I got clues for and stuff like that. Because the thing is that there are certain ones that are question mark, question mark, question mark. I believe those basically unlock when you've gotten most of the other ones, or they have a certain, like, you get this one, now this question mark, question mark, question mark, now you can get the hint for this one, and whatever. The cool thing is though that when I did Omega Pirate, it was really easy. I only went in, I only had one power bomb for that fight. I was able to get another one to drop. But the thing is just that you just need to ignore the ads. The first time when I laid the power bomb, I kind of wasted my first power bomb, because I tried then to kill the other ones, and I didn't want to use a bomb missile. Of course, they spawned the ice ones. The thing is, if I would have used the ice super combo, the, you know, like charge the ice beam, shoot with the super missile, because I had that one, I had like the ice spreader, I think it's called. Because there are of course beam combos in Metroid Prime, and the beam combos are actually very important to be able to kill like the specific like space pirate, the ones that are like space pirates that are attuned to a certain beam. So there's the ice pirates, there's the wave pirates, there's the plasma pirates, and there's the power pirates or power troopers or whatever. And they correspond to one of the beams and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I actually really liked the way they made the Phazon suit look, because I didn't like the Phazon suit that much in the original, to be honest, and that was just because the Phazon suit was kind of too dark. In here it looks way like Sith-esque, and the visor does look a lot better, because the visor actually looked pretty bad in the original, to be honest, you know, and stuff that, you know, because the Phazon suit is a very unique suit, because that's the thing, right? In a lot of Metroid games, oh, it's the Varia suit, always kind of looks the Varia suit, you know, and oh, it's the gravity suit, you know. It tends to look very, very similar in most games, of course. But in this one, of course, they had, you know, the Phazon suit and stuff that, and that was really cool. And of course, then in Metroid Prime 2, you know, Echoes, they had, you know, you started out with Varia suit. Like, you didn't lose the Varia suit, you didn't go down to like the power suit, but you had to retreat the first time you went to like the dark area or whatever, you know, you retreated. You lost some of the other power-ups, if I remember correctly, but you didn't lose like the Varia suit itself. But then of course you got the dark suit pretty early on. I think of the first real boss, or the first like guardian of an area, I believe that's when you got the dark suit. And after you get the dark suit, of course, it takes a really long time until you get the next suit. Although technically there is like a power-up you get on the water, which works as a like gravity booster or something like that. I think it's called. Or was it gravity shoes? It was something like a gravity module that has the function of a gravity suit, but except it doesn't have the damage reduction. But then of course you get the light suit eventually, you know, once you've like done all the major areas in Metroid Prime 2 vehicles, you get the light suit. And the light suit also something I never used in Metroid Prime 2 because I didn't know how to do it. Is that once you get that light suit, they also allow you to warp between each of the major temples in the game, which is really good. And sure, there is, you know, a lot of elevators in Metroid Prime, but there isn't like a quick way to just go to a certain area and stuff that, which is something that, you know, like that would have been like a quality of life feature that I would have been, you know, seeing. Now the question is though, once I beat the game, because technically I could beat it today, you know, and stuff that, or beat it after midnight if I want to. I mean, I tend to go to bed earlier now. Sometimes at 2200, sometimes at 2100. Sometimes, you know, after midnight, you know, sometimes at 1 in the morning. But even 1 in the morning is not like super late or whatever, right? And certain times I would go to bed at 2000, sometimes at 2100. So 2000, that's like 4 hours before midnight. 2100, that's like 3, right? 21, 22, 23, 100, yeah. Yeah, I like the 24-hour clock thing. Because I still think that the whole 12-hour clock is just stupid with whole AM and PM. Like, we don't even use like AM and PM. Just when you have a 24-hour clock, you know, like, it's just like, yeah. But the thing is, like, because, you know, yes, it's a remaster and stuff that, although I would almost call it a remake. The thing is, how are they handling the fusion suit? Like, I don't know, maybe no one has gone through the game fully yet, but the fusion suit, if you remember, like Metroid Fusion was of course out at the same time, kind of released I think in the same month, at least here in Europe, as Metroid Prime, because I remember in the gaming magazine I had. The funny thing is, back when I got the GameCube, I think the Xbox was already out at that point. I was in Finland, and then I had a certain gaming magazine with me. That gaming magazine was a couple of months old at that point, I think it was, and stuff that. And I remember reading the review and really wanting to get like the GameCube and stuff that, you know, just because of Metroid Prime. And then of course I got the black GameCube because that was the Metroid Prime thing, and then you could replace the faceplate on it on the GameCube where it said Nintendo GameCube with like a Metroid Prime one and stuff that, you know, and you know, that was really cool. Sadly, I remember one time when they were cleaning my room. Like, this was way back in the old place where I used to live, you know, and stuff that, back when I was still like in school and stuff that. And like they cleaned, and then they basically threw away the cover, because basically there's a Nintendo GameCube box like this with the black console in, but then there was a cover over it that had like the Metroid Prime thing. They actually threw that away. And that felt really bad, because I felt like that GameCube, the black GameCube that had, you know, the whole Metroid Prime covering around it, that one I think was kinda rare, to be honest, because I don't think they made super many of it, or whatever, you know, when it was like really cool. So it would have been cool, like with a proper like Metroid Prime or Metroid themed GameCube, that would have been cool, you know, but yeah. It's just, you know, like, yeah. That feels pretty bad, but yeah. Because the thing is, of course, that Metroid Fusion had a whole, you had like a link cable. You could link your Game Boy Advance with your GameCube, and then you could move over, and then you could read the file from the Fusion. And I believe if you completed Fusion, it gave you something, but if you just have the Fusion save file, you would be able to get the Fusion suit. But then there was something else you could also get if you like completed Fusion. Yeah, completing Fusion gave you the NES Metroid. Or I'm pretty certain that you could also unlock the NES Metroid another way as well, because I remember getting the NES Metroid on the GameCube and stuff there, because yeah. But the thing is, if I remember correctly, the way the fusion suit works is the fusion suit replaces only the power suit. And once you get Varia, you just get Varia. Or maybe it always sticks with being the fusion suit, no matter what suit you're wearing. And stuff like that. Because wouldn't it have been cool for this remaster if, for example, because in Fusion, of course, in Fusion, you know, the fusion suit looks very, very different from the power suit. And the thing is, both the Varia suit in that and the gravity suit in Fusion, they both look very, very different from the regular Varia suit and the regular gravity suit. So it would have been cool if, of course, if you could get the fusion suit, if it's in the game right, if then the Varia suit could have been like the Varia suit that looks more like the one that is in Fusion. And same thing for the gravity suit. The Fusion suit could still, of course, just remain the Fusion suit, but still, you know. But I also thought about that. Wouldn't it be cool if there was some kind of functionality with, like, Metroid Dread? Like, oh, detect a save file for Metroid Dread. Oh, if you have a clear file and you have beaten Dread on normal, then you can get this. Oh, if you beaten Dread on hard, you can get this, or whatever, you know, and stuff like that would be cool, you know, stuff like that. But yeah. Now the question is, you know, people might know this already, but of course they talked about a lot of, you know, there was a lot of talk about, you know, the Switch Pro or whatever, right? But then, you know, Nintendo released a while, or last year I think it was, or maybe the year before that, they released, you know, the Switch OLED. And the Switch OLED wasn't, you know, a performance increase. It was, of course, better for the handheld because it was an OLED screen finally, which, you know, the PS Vita already had before, a long time ago. And yeah, the thing is the display was bigger, I believe, as well, and the unit was basically bigger. So if you played it in portable mode, it was excellent. But it wasn't any more powerful. Although I think that might technically be a lie. Because, I mean, like, each model of the PS5, for example, like, the newer the model you get of the PS5, the lighter it is. Because they have reduced they made the console lighter. And usually there is, like, an increase in megahertz sometimes. Or like a gigahertz or terahertz or whatever, you know. Or not terahertz, but, you know. You get my point, right? Like, they usually increase the power use slightly and stuff like that. And sometimes they also make it, like, use less power. So you could technically say that, oh, it's more powerful because of that. You know, whatever, but yeah. But the thing is, you know, and I believe it was because of, you know, the whole, because it was hard to get graphics card during a time, and that's when they made it, like, expensive. Although, you know, I have my own opinion on that. That was just, you know, fabricated, you know, because all of a sudden when I got my PS5, they had a shit ton of PS5 in stock. And when I noticed the PS5, when I noticed that they had it in stock, the store where I got mine, they still had it there after 24 hours. It didn't sell out in 24 hours. And I don't know how long they had it when I noticed it. Like, maybe they had it for 48 hours. And it didn't sold out completely from all the different places until at least 3 or 4 days had passed. Which felt pretty insane. But I also had it so that you couldn't buy it online. So you had to visit a physical store to get it. You know, and it just felt very weird that all of a sudden why have so many consoles. That just felt extremely weird. Almost like they had a hidden inventory of a shit ton of consoles. And because of a certain, I know there was a certain law that were going to get passed in EU, I think, in all of Europe basically. There was going to be like, oh, if you have a bunch of excess electronics in your business or in your company or whatever, if you have a lot of like extra stock of electrical things, you know, like video game consoles, cell phones, if you have a too big of stock of those, we're gonna punish you, you're gonna have to pay a fine or something like that. I think that was how it was worded, you know. I don't remember if that was true or not, you know, but that's what I heard at least from some sources. And then of course, because the thing is right, because when the so-called global pandemic happened, which by the way it was never a pandemic, calling it a pandemic is bullshit, and they faked the numbers of deaths, at least from the quote-unquote COVID. They faked the death numbers on that, because the death numbers was just the same as with the winter flu. Yes, it was the same as the winter flu, and the winter flu just magically disappeared when COVID happened. And COVID didn't kill many people at all. It just killed the same amount as the flu would, not more at all. And then one say, oh, they killed this many people. Yeah, just because someone took a COVID test and said, oh, they were positive with COVID, or like, oh, this person died from a gunshot wound. Oh, but they had COVID, and because they tested COVID on people who had already died, if they had COVID in the system, and if they had a COVID in the system, they counted as a COVID death, even if they got run over by a truck, even if they got shot in the head, even no matter how else they died. And that used to create fear, because like, why would people wear masks or do stupid shit if it wasn't a deadly disease? And it wasn't a deadly disease. And in most age groups, the survival rate was 99% and stuff that. And it's like, oh, they try to make it like the end of the world. Like the same thing with the whole climate bullshit, because the climate has always been the biggest hoax in human history, because they are manipulating the data, because that's what communists always do. Communist Marxists always manipulate the data and make it look like, oh, we're doing really good as this country, and then they're doing really, really horrible, and anyone who thinks Joe Biden is a good president is fucking mentally insane in the head. And that's just how it's always been, and stuff that you just have oh, they might be highly educated or whatever, but they're still stupid, and think they're, oh, Republicans evil, Joe Biden good, and then anyone who thinks that Joe Biden is less racist than Trump, then that's stupid. Or they're thinking that Trump is racist or anything like that. But yeah, it's just so stupid, because these people are own the Republicans. They're because that's the thing with the whole woke agenda. The woke agenda comes from communism and Marxism, because within that there's a thing where you ruin the language, or you ruin any language. You make stupid ass barriers to talking, so that a girl would think that, OMG, you're hitting on me, or OMG, this person committed sexual assault by saying hi to me, or whatever, right? And then they just make up stupid rules and shit like that, and then people don't dare to talk to each other, because, oh, what if this woman is a woke woman, then you cannot talk to them, because then what if you get accused for rape just by looking at someone, and stuff like that, because that's how they work, because they're mentally ill in the head. And it's already been shown, in multiple studies that quote US Democrat voters or left-wing voters overall are mentally insane in the head on a more high basis. And that's why when, Joe Biden had a speech last year with the whole red and very, very dark background, which kind of looked like a Nazi background, or Nazi color-esque, or Sith-esque in colors or whatever, or the Empire or whatever, And then, he was like, oh, these MAGA Republicans, or this ultra MAGA are a threat to our democracy, or whatever he said, And it's okay, his Democrat base are just gonna clap for that, but and they're not really gonna do anything about it. But the ones that are gonna do about it, and they know that it's the Democrats voters that are mentally insane. They have way more mentally insane people. They know that those people that then hear the whole, oh, democracy is in danger, democracy is threatened by Republicans. Those are the ones that are gonna go out and do stuff and do violent things, And then, but January 6th, and then January 6th was, of course, the majority of that was just done with the FBI and with the feds and CIA and stuff that, and stuff that, and it's just really, really horrible. And then the fact that they managed to ban Donald Trump, which is really, really stupid, because it was more planned via Facebook and stuff that, and it wasn't really they wanted to, imprison innocent people and stuff that, and the people who were violent, of course, those deserve it, but most of those were agents. Which was of course bad. I'm used to this. I forgot that it turns off automatically in my headphones. I mean, the headphones doesn't really matter because you can still be able to hear like the microphone and stuff that, you know, even without that, you know, so yeah. What else? So on my birthday, you know, like I did a Swedish video before. I already talked about that, kind of what I got for the birthday, because I got my birthday present like before and stuff that, you know, when I got VRC Generations, that was sale on, and then there was another game that was sale on. I think it was another game, right? Because I have it written down here. I got VRC Generations. I was planning to get the Galactic Purple like controller, but I haven't gotten that yet. Winter's expansion for RE4 Village, that was not price reduced. VRC Generation was of course on sale. Intermission add-on for Final Fantasy VII Remake, I got that. I got Thames Fighting Herds, plus the Season 1 Pass, and the thing was on sale. So basically I paid 125.40 kronor for the game, and the Season Pass was 209 kronor. So I paid 334.4, and it is cheaper than the digital deluxe version of the game because those things were on sale. So the only thing that I did not get was of course the controller and stuff that. I also need to of course get the games that I've written up last year. Of course, which means that I still need to get God of War Ragnarok at some point, and I need to get the Switch games that I've written down, which I believe is the DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Both of the DLCs, there are 2 DLCs for that. All the DLC for Cadence of Hyrule, and I need to get the Violet, Pokemon Violet, you know, the Violet Scarlet and stuff that, Pokemon Violet, you know, I need to get that. What was it called? Wasn't it called, was it, because it was like blah 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 Scarlet, blah 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 Violet, right? Because it wasn't just Pokemon Violet and Scarlet, right? They were called something else, right? More than that. No, it was called just Violet and Scarlet. A Cadence of Hyrule Season Pass. Be close to the microphone, damn it! I don't know if you could hear when I said it was like, okay, so yes, let me just redo this here. So start over with that. So I ended up getting the VRC Generations, and that was for sale. I didn't get the controller yet. I got the Winter's expansion for RE4 Village. I got the Intermission add-on for Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is the one with the Youthster, and Thames Fighting Herds, which was on sale, and then I got the Season 1 Pass, and that was cheaper than getting the digital deluxe edition. And then of course the things that I'm missing from last year that I didn't end up getting, you know, I ended up getting Crisis Core, you know, earlier this year. In January, I believe I got Crisis Core. And then of course I'm still missing God of War Ragnarok Digital Deluxe Edition. So I'm gonna have to get that at some point. And I'm also gonna have to get the Switch stuff that I'm missing, which is Pokemon Violet / Scarlet, depending on which version. Cadence of Hyrule Season Pass, it gives me access to all the stuff. Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass, which is 2 expansions, and Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity plus Expansion Pass, and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Basically it's Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So yeah. Because yeah, those are the ones that I really need to get. But I also know that there are of course new stuff that I want to get this year as well. You know, there are some new stuff that I want to be getting as well. But of course, I mean, and of course, I mean, for March, I mean, technically it's already decided for March. Because for March, of course, obviously we will need to be getting the what do you call it? We need to be getting for March we need to get Resident Evil 4 Remake, the digital deluxe edition of that. And then after that, unless it comes like a surprise game or whatever, we need to be getting the Switch games. We need to be getting, of course, the God of War Ragnarok, but I also need to start getting some PS5 games that are exclusive for the PS5. So like a Returnal, I know is super good. Not Dark Souls, but Demon Souls, which was of course before the first Dark Souls games. You know, that looks good as well. You know, so yeah. And the thing is, of course, keep in mind that for Game of the Year this year, because of course I did delay my Game of the Year video, you know, the 2022 video. But for the 2023 video with the Game of the Year, yeah, I'm planning already now, is that I'm gonna allow those games to at least be on the list for like candidates and stuff, that games that are like upgraded on the PS5, that are like, because a lot of my games have come with free upgrades. The funny thing is you can re-earn the trophies again and stuff, that which feels a bit weird to go back and play to Resident Evil 2 again and thing. The funny thing is, of course, my you know, let's play of Resident Evil 2 Remake, you know, I never uploaded all the parts for that, you know, and stuff that, because, you know, there are still some parts left for that to like upload, and I still believe I have them on this hard drive here. Where do I have it? Old school camera recording, yeah, let's play Resident Evil 2. So Claire scenario, that is Leon B scenario, yeah, I have a couple of videos left for that to upload. And those were made what year? They say created, yeah, they said created 2020, but changed 2019. So yeah. So and then the Claire B run, which I just started on that, but yeah, but I have gotten like further than that. And then bonus extras, you know, that I did as well, you know, where I went over some of the bonus stuff, you know, so yeah. That was of course recorded with the old video camera. And then I have some Final Fantasy 7 Remastered like clips that I haven't uploaded yet. And also because I must have hit something on the camera that made the clips extremely blurry or whatever, so I must have hit a setting or whatever. Because I think that when you press one of the buttons on that, you can go in all a bunch of settings. Like one looks like an eye, one looks like something like, because on the camera there's like a bunch of arrows, like one that goes up, one that goes left, one that goes right, one that goes down. And I probably managed to press that button that activates so that you can then go up and down to go between a bunch of different like settings that you can adjust. And then I must have hit like the plus on something and stuff that, and that's what made like the camera like super blurry or whatever. But yeah, because the thing is, right, is that technically I don't need like a capturing card really to like do like a let's play and stuff that I mean I did have a Hopog before, you know, and recorded with that, but that of course stopped functioning properly or whatever for whatever reason. But I feel like, to be honest, right, if I'm gonna like because if I get a better tripod and not get like a super clumsy, super ass big tripod, for example, if I can get one of those smaller tripods, like I know that there are small tripods that you can just put up like that, because then I could just put it on the table, point it at the TV, and then boom. And then maybe just get one of those action cameras, because the action cameras are a lot cheaper than the more bulkier cameras, and then I could get like a cheap 4K camera. I'm planning on getting like a 4K webcam as well, but yeah, I believe the place where I normally get some electronics has one of those what do they call it, like action camera. Now I cannot spell the action camera. Hey. Yeah, those are some action cameras. And also use telephone GPS, hem and flight hide. Action cameras. Okay, that's one of those things. Yeah, but that one looks weird. That one looks like a cheap stuff thing. Huh. Oh. Huh, now they show up because it's like one of those GoPro things that you want. Oh, that's one that has like a... That one has like a thing. 23 megapixel photo, 5.3K video, streaming in 1080p, and that one comes with a tripod. Yeah, GoPro Hero 10 black bundle, and you get one of those that, yeah, you can, because that one you use tie to the tripod pretty much, yeah, on the tripod like that, and you can hold it also. They show a bunch of like different ways to put it. So they said the streaming is with that, right? In 5.3K video with double. Okay, take photos in 23 megapixels. Short the magnetic swivel clip. Oh yeah, carry bag, 2 low uploadable batteries. The question is, how long can you record with it? Okay, so 60. Yeah, and it have like stabilization also. Okay, but do you have to have it in the streaming mode and when you're recording like stuff? Because it totally depends on how long you can record with it, right? Like, do you actually get a... Because the thing I'm wondering is how much does it have like built-in memory then? Like how long can you actually record on it? Like it doesn't say like here. I want statistic, damn it. Oh, here, technical. Okay. Okay, that's the max video setting, that's good. Okay. That seems good. Okay. .7 LCD display, LCD screen, because there's basically two screens. USB Type-C. Micro SD. Okay, good. It doesn't include a micro SD card, so you have to get the micro SD card with that. Okay, I need to remember that. So you can do a HEVC format. Okay, everything is HEVC format. So you can do it in 5312 times 2988, which is actually the true like 4K resolution. That's 60 FPS, but that's the true 4K resolution. Then it has 3840 times 2160p, which is, you know, the what is it, 3K resolution? Yeah, 3K resolution. That one is 125 FPS, and you can do 2704 times 1420, which is higher than the 1440p, and this 240 FPS. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's not bad, actually. That's not bad at all. And of course we have the Logitech Brio there. It's just still in sale, yeah. Damn, it is pretty cheap now, actually. And that is like ultra HD 4K and stuff that. Otherwise it's 1080p with 60 FPS. But how does it work if it's like... Yeah, it's only 30 megapixels. So it's only technically 4096 times 2160. So it's 30 FPS with the 4K, 60 FPS with the 1080. It's high dynamic range. Okay. Windows 8. Okay. I wanna check, is there even any better web cameras? Highest first. Yeah, technically the only thing that would be better than that would be like the Razer Kaio. But the Razer Kaio is just 1080. But maybe you can take better photos with the Razer Kaio. The Razer Kaio actually looks more like a proper camera, actually, to be honest. Huh. Supposedly it's cheap on... Why the heck did that pop up? That was really fucking weird. There's one of those Stream Decks or Razer Stream Controller. That one actually looks pretty sick. But the question is, can you use like a stream controller if you use like recording a video normally? Like, say you're recording with a webcam, could I like get like a stream controller and get like functions on it? Because that's the Razer's stream controller there. Yeah. And there's like 12 like haptic switchblade keys. Like do the sounds individually for things. Change between layouts. Plugins, Twitch, OBS Studio, Spotify, Razer Key, Light, Chroma, plugin, voice mod. I mean, but you kind of have to be like a streamer, right, to get those things, right? Oh wow, they have like boom arms here. Because if I get a boom arm right, I could like put my microphone. But then I think that you have to get rid of the thing that I have the microphone on, so I basically have to get rid of this whole lower platform on the microphone. I basically have to get rid of like the base, pretty much, because I believe I can screw it loose from the base, because then you basically have it like hanging down like this and stuff that, and then it comes with a pop filter, and stuff that, like one of those. There's a mission SG Galler 2. Alright, and that comes actually with the specific microphone. Do they have like... Yeah, there's one with the blue microphone there, the Yeticaster. But isn't there ones that are like... Sure, that's cool and everything, but isn't there ones that are like just the arm without the thing? Because I already got the microphone, I just want the arm. Right, so what is it called? Boom arm? Boom arm and pop filter. Okay, there is one thing there that looks like a... The question is, can you really loosen this? Can you like remove this from the base? Is the question, or can I remove this from the base? And stuff that, like, can I remove it from the base? I know that technically on the microphone itself there are some loose things, but yeah, because I mean, if I loosen these right, I could probably remove the microphone from the thing. Because yeah, but I really want to get like a pop filter thing, you know. Can you just find a pop filter? Like, where do they sell pop filters? I wonder if I can find on pop filter. Right. What? Do Blue have any own pop filters? No. I wonder if I could find that if I search actually Blue. Is Blue the brand? Yeah, Blue. Yeah, pop filter. Ah. Blue Yeti. Okay. Because I mean a pop filter will just do so much difference. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just getting a pop filter would just make a very big difference, you know, in the whole quality and stuff that of things. You know, would really improve. Smaller things at least. But yeah. Right. I had very little left in this because I had actually eaten before and then I had drinking most of it. Needed some fresh water as well. Sometimes it's hard to get everything out because of how the bottle is. Yeah. But the Celsius is still good, by the way. They are really, really good. But yeah. Was there anything else I was going to talk about? Let me think. Because yeah, you know, like I did plan to actually talk about Resident Evil 4 Buns first and talk about like how when I made the Swedish video I talked about like how the balance in like the fighting game, Tim's fighting here seems like really imbalanced because there's no problem clearing it on the easiest difficulty, but then when you do normal difficulty it's like really, really hard for some weird reason. Sometimes like it seems like it balances off, but then like the next day after I did that recording, the Swedish recording, I then managed to get to the final battle, or to the battle with the shadows, pretty much on the normal difficulty, which is the green horn difficulty, which basically is where the trophies are at if you want to clear it with all the characters. But the main problem is that those shadows, it's not only that it's like, it seems like the AI reads input, but then sometimes the AI can use the side to be bullshit, and then you cannot win no matter like what you do. Like sometimes they enemies decide I'm just gonna combo you all day, and sure you get a chance to block, but you know, just if you miss the block and you don't block properly or whatever, or you fail through the block, then you know you're pretty much win. Then it's just better to go on the offensive, you know, rather than try to block properly or whatever, you know. But yeah, and it just feels so crazy like that, you know. It feels like very, very weird. Like why have they, you know, like. And I know that there have been fighting games before that have like had an imbalance. There was like a Street Fighter game that I had on the PS2 that I still have. I still have it somewhere. On that one, it was the one with the Hyper Anniversary, I think it was. Which basically you could choose between like regular Street Fighter 2 Ryu, the champion, or I think the Championship Edition Ryu specifically, or the standard Street Fighter 2 Ryu, and then you could choose you could choose the Turbo version from Street Fighter 2 Turbo. You could choose the Super one and the Super Turbo, and also I think the Championship Edition, because Championship Edition was the one that added the bosses. I think it was regular Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, which is one that had the bosses, or if they just skipped that and just had like Turbo, because Turbo of course also had the bosses. And of course, because you know you could play as a different version of character. In that, basically, even when you played it with like 1 star was like 4 stars, but it's actually more than that. Like 1 star was like, I think 5 or 6 stars or whatever, you know, so yeah. Which meant that the difficulty in that was completely bonkers and stuff like that. Like it's just like, it was not just that it like read inputs, but it was like super, super hard. And then you either have to use like cheese strategies or use like really, really cheap characters or whatever, right? You know, but yeah. But it was of course good with the whole, when they did the whole Street Fighter collection for the, you know, for the PS4 and stuff like that, which I still have, you know. And in that one you can play the arcade version of each of the games. Now of course the one in, I think though that there is a certain arcade version that had the difficulty level all screw up, and I think it's specifically Super Turbo that has that ridiculous difficulty mode. Like if you play Super Turbo, even if you try to use the beat it on normal, it's just like pretty hard, you know. Although in a lot of the earlier Street Fighter games, like Street Fighter 2, 2 Turbo, all those versions, like Zangief is really good in all the version, because just his heavy moves are really good, and it's just that they do a lot of damage. And if you hit things properly, also, if you like, you can also, I forgot right, if you could bind, can't you bind like 2 buttons into one? Or could you do that back in the day? I forgot if you could do that, right? Because yeah, because I thought there were like a way to do it like the, you know, to do the whole, because the thing is like you need to use 3 punch buttons for Zangief to do in Turbo, at least, to do the, you had the regular, not the spinning pile driver, but the whole cloth design thing, the cloth design when it spins like that. You have a fast version of it and a slow version, and you can use it to basically avoid fireballs. And if the fireball is like fast, then you want to do the fast version. If it's a slower fireball, you need to do like the slow version and stuff like that. But the thing is also that if you time his heavy, I think it is the jumping heavy, or just if he does the standing heavy, like kick, you can actually interrupt Bison's like Psycho Crusher and stuff like that, which is, you know, super good. By the way, I don't know if you've seen that, but it's hard to see, but yeah. And yeah, I didn't need to go to the dentist to do it. Like, I managed to get rid of my tooth stone, or the tandsten is what it's called in Sweden. Like the stone thing on the tooth or whatever, you know, and I was able to do it just with my fingernails and stuff like that. And so I made sure that I had like alcohol and stuff that to clean with it, you know, so I don't get an infection or whatever, but yeah. Because, you know, tooth stone is the only real problem I have with my teeth. Often, you know, like, oh, I only have the tooth stone problem and stuff that. And I hate going to the dentist for like the tooth stone thing, because it's just that it's so fucking bright, and then they have to fucking remove the tooth stone, and it takes a fucking long time, and it's all messy, and it just spreads everywhere, and I get tears in my eyes just because of the fucking light that is in there is just like super strong and intense in your eyes all the time, and it's just like it fucking hurts my eyes and stuff that, like, I'm not used to that, like super strong like light and stuff that, you know. And then it's just like, and why remove the tooth stone that way when you can just remove it yourself? And it was so weird, because I would just sit and do this sometimes on it, you know, and stuff that, and just tweaking it, and eventually it just comes loose of itself, and then basically like big nuggets of it would just drop off, and then you're like, huh, so maybe the whole dentist is like a fake thing, you know, like a fake thing, like, oh, we don't need dentist because you can just get rid of the tooth stone yourself. Okay, I can understand for other things if you get like holes in your teeth, but I've never had holes in my teeth. The only problem I really had is tooth stone and stuff that's there. It felt like I got one of those hairs in my mouth again. Getting hair in your mouth is really bad, by the way, especially if you have like a beard hair or like a mustache hair and you get that in your mouth, because that thing is sharp and it can fuck up inside your throat, and then you can get like and you can try to get up like slime and stuff and shit, mucus and shit. I think it's called mucus, right? I forgot what it's called, but yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the RE4 Remake, and I might make, you know, a vlog during the weekend maybe, because it's Friday today. You know, it's because I want to also talk about Resident Evil 4 Remake and stuff like that, and, you know, because technically I kind of get what the demo will be of, because, you know, like that game, what was it? Was it GameInformer? It was one place that basically got to play through certain parts of the game, except that the footage they were showing was from Capcom themselves, so they didn't show themselves playing. But that's probably what the demo is going to be. The demo is going to be like the chapter 1 or whatever, and it's also going to be chapter 5. And the interesting thing is chapter 5 is when you save Ashley at the search, unless of course she gets saved earlier. But the fact that that is chapter 5 compared to in the region, I believe, right, that chapter 4 was when the castle started, right? That was chapter 4. So chapter 5 would normally be in the castle. So you can think about how much they have added and stuff that with that. But also the thing that was interesting in the gameplay they shown, you could clearly see that it seemed that the Red 9 only had 3 power upgrades to it, which either means that each power upgrade is more significant, or it was limited just because it was a demo. So I'm thinking that whenever they release a demo for the game, it won't be like the full, it won't be like the latest build of the game, like the final release build or whatever. Because otherwise, yeah, you're gonna be able to check, you know, like how far you can take the weapons and stuff like that. But I definitely think there will be balance changes on some of the guns. Like I'm definitely thinking Red 9 and Blacktail will probably be nerfed. Punisher will probably be buffed. Although I think the Punisher had a hidden mechanic in the original game. This is just something I remembered. I forgot if it was back on the GameCube or if it was on the Wii. Why I noticed this? Because I think I did 1 or 2 playthroughs with the Punisher specifically as my handgun. And of course it has the, you know, the piercing thing because it's based on the FN57. But the thing is, normally it pierces to 2 enemies. And I believe it's unique is right to 5 enemies, I think it is. Pierces to 5 enemies. And of course it can be good in if there is a lot of enemies. Like in a group and stuff that, then it can be good because then you can hit multiply at once. The main problem is it maxes out at like 1.85 power. So it doesn't even go up to 2 like the regular handgun. And the regular handgun, you know, gets the 5 like crit multiplier. Which is really good. But the thing that I always remember is that even when you play it on pro difficulty, is that I remember that the Plagas died very quickly to the Punisher for whatever reason. And I used to think that it had something to do with that the piercing effect somehow meant that it dealt bonus damage or whatever, or like had a damage multiplier versus like Plagas. So that even though it was a weaker gun, it used quickly dealt with Plagas. And maybe I'm just misremembering things or whatever, but maybe it has that as a hidden thing, you know, because that would have been cool, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah. And also, you know, when it comes to the shotguns, I definitely think maybe both the standard and riot shotgun will probably be buffed. I don't think the striker will be nerfed because the striker shotgun, which you can do the Dickman glitch within the original. The thing is, that shotgun is misused by everyone because everyone thinks, oh, it does that 12 damage all the time because, oh, you only use that shotgun with a shotgun, and then you have stupid like streamers who clearly understand that, okay, they're not speedrunning RE4 as their main game or whatever, you know, but it's just very clear, you know, that because the thing is, I remember a site back in the day, and it was someone that knew the drop-off points of like the shotguns and stuff there, because if you've ever seen like any Call of Duty clip, when they go over like a weapon, they go, okay, like this gun kills at like 3 bullets up close, and then like 5 bullets via distance, and then it shows up where the drop-off points are, where it drops down to a certain amount. And the thing is, for the regular shotgun, without the unique upgrade, then the drop-off point is a certain amount of meters or yards or whatever you want to call it. But let's say it's just a certain amount of meters, like how far the enemy can be away from you for you to deal the full damage. And of course the damage drops off, and usually when the damage drops off, it doesn't drop off to the minimum damage right away. It just drops up to, like, say the standard shotgun, right, it does, I think it does 8 when it's maxed out. The right shotgun does 10, so it does 8 basically, and then maybe once you reach a certain distance it deals 7, and then 6, and then it falls off faster and faster. But the thing is, for example, the standard shotgun with its unique effect, it deals 8 across all ranges. However, it still has a maximum distance. Even though you can kind of snipe with it, it still will be bound at a certain point. It will used to do 0 damage, basically bound at a certain point. And I forgot, but because it's really, really long, the distance. The right shotgun has quicker aiming, at least on console. And the right shotgun always had quicker aiming, so you could aim with it faster, which is very, very, very useful, especially if a group surrounds you, especially in the caster sections. The right shotgun deals 10 damage, And it's quite a bit of a distance until it starts dropping off. That's the thing also, it has like longer range than the regular shotgun. And stuff like that. Now the firing speed of course on the regular shotguns cannot be upgraded. But the firing speed is of course way quicker on the striker. However, on the striker, the damage drop off is extremely quickly. And the damage drop off is only 1. What I mean by that is the damage drop off drops off from doing 12 damage, which is the highest damage it is, I believe it's 12. It drops down to 4 damage. And 4 damage, if I'm not mistaken, is actually weaker than even the standard shotgun, or it is the same damage as the standard shotgun without like any upgrades. Didn't I have a Resident Evil text like that before? Nah, maybe I didn't save it. Because there is a Resident Evil text where you can look that up somewhere. And stuff that... 4 weapon stats remaster. Okay. I know that this site doesn't have kind of the correct stat because sometimes some of the info here is completely wrong on some of the stats here. Sometimes. But yeah. The regular shotgun maxes out at 8. The right shotgun maxes out at 8, but its unique upgrade gives it 10. Yeah. Striker maxes out at 12. But it's like, yeah, it's the best of all worlds. Highest attack power, highest fire rate, fastest reload, and relative massive magazine. It's very short range. Because the thing is, like, the short range of it is like way worse than all the other guns and stuff like that. And yeah, and bolt action rifle maxes out at 12, and the firepower raises up to 30 in the regular version and 18 in the GameCube version. And it has a 2.73 firing speed. The thing is, the semi-automatic rifle has a 1.83 firing speed, so it fires quicker. And firing speed drops to 0.80 with its exclusive, and 0.40 in the GameCube version, so it was even stronger in the GameCube version. Oh, they have actually added some stuff to this, and maybe it's because it's a different version of the game. Maybe I should actually favorite this site, because I don't remember them having the stat for all of these things. Right. Right. Yeah, it was Metroid was cheaper in the Polar version, which is pretty insane. Yeah. Do they mention it here? Yeah, they don't mention it. They don't mention it, man. Why is that still that? Okay, so this is bugging me, right? I need to just take up this before I stop, because I need to go and take a massive dump. But yeah, but the laser weapon, the RE4 Yeah, there is the It boss, like one of those alien dudes, the one that you fight on the island when you're in the cages above. You can kill it there. Not with the infinite rocket launcher, not with the top fighter, not with the fucking hand cannon. But you can kill it with the laser weapon, the only gun that can kill it at that point. And if you kill it at that point, you get a maximum treasure. You get the, what is it called? Because, you know, you have like crown jewel dropped by Salazar's right hand. You have a royal insignia. And then you have like the crown jewel. Yeah, crown jewel, royal insignia, and then the crown itself. The thing is, Salazar's family crown is what it becomes when you combine it with jewel and with the insignia. So the crown jewel and the royal insignia. With those combines, and the crown itself, of course, you get the Salazar family crown, and it's worth 48,000 pesetas. And the Salazar family crown, you can only get one normally during the game, but you get two if you kill the second one, if you kill the one on the island. But it's really good. The second best treasure is basically the whole golden links with 3 other games in it. With that is 35,000 pesetas. If I remember correctly, also the what's it called? Elegant Mask is worth 20,000 pesetas with 3 things in it. Butterfly lamp is worth 32,000, so that's pretty good. The main problem is, of course, the blue eye, I believe, is the one that's really rare. And stuff that, but there is a certain place where you can kind of farm the insects. But a lot of them keep spawning. And if you don't get one of those, you can just, get rid of it, but yeah. Bearstein is also worth 20,000, but yeah. Rubies are of course worth 10,000. Emeralds are worth 3,000. Velvet Blues are worth 2,500. And Spinal are worth 2,000. But yeah, because Red 9 of course maxes out at 3.7, and then the exclusive raises it to 6.5, 5.0 in the GameCube version. Yeah, Punisher can penetrate up to 5 enemies. It maxes out at 1.9 attack power apparently, yeah. Of course it is pretty cheap, I believe, to fully upgrade. Yeah, subtotals 105,000 to fully upgrade. Yeah. Yes, that's the total. But the subtotals, is that just the, okay, so 105 for the firepower, 30,000 for the firing speed, reloading the speed. Or is that everything together? Is 35, 40, 50, 60, 70. Yes, probably just that. Oh man. I know there was a site also where you could see just the total cost of what everything is, yeah. May also increase the chance of critical hits on supplications when held. I mean, yes, that is true, but also it increases actually the critical hits on every gun or whatever, but yeah. But yeah, but the thing is actually on the what do you call it, on the striker, like the minimum range is just so short, so that if you knock back something, like you knock back an enemy with the striker shotgun, like especially those big dudes on the island, the long guys, if you knock them back, you need to basically run up to where they are and fire center mass, because center mass you do maximum damage with the striker. Headshots are not as good because then you miss some of your pellets, you deal less damage. But the thing is, like, you need to run up to where an enemy is pretty much in order to do full damage, because otherwise you're going to miss out on damage if you knock something back. Because what I think it's the best visualizer, but I forgot if it's 100% true, is that you have a body in front of you, like a body laying down, like a gunner laying down in front of you, and in order to do maximum damage you need to basically run up to the body and fire center mass, or fire on the head, but fire center mass to do full damage. But if there's 2 bodies lined up, like first body, second body, if you're touching the first body and then you fire onto this second body with a center mass shot, and they lie like in a straight line like this, so there's the first body and you're touching the first body, you're touching the head basically with Leon, and you're touching the first body. If you fire at the second body on the center mass, that would be too long range and you will only deal 4 damage. That's kind of how you can visualize it. I don't know if it's that extreme, but that's kind of what's supposed to be the point. So that with the striker, if you knock someone back, you always need to run forward and make sure that you're always like standing right next to it. So basically, so if there is a group of enemies, you cannot fire from a distance like you can with other shotguns and still deal full damage. You basically need to run in and risk getting hit by melee weapons and then just start blasting and stuff like that. So yes, it gives you this insane capacity, like you unlock the whole 100 capacity, which is really good, by the way. So yeah. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed this recording session. I'll be back maybe on Sunday, maybe on Monday. We will see. I let my voice recover. But I'll see you all next